you have a clearer picture of the questions that you should be asking and the things that you need to know before accepting a job offer, it's important to take time to reflect on your priorities. What you are really trying to do here is to find out if the role, the organization, and this group is in alignment with what matters most to you right now. Welcome to The PA is In, the show created by PAs for PAs, where codependency with your supervising physician is a thing of the past, optimal team practice is the future, and physician associate has taken the place of physician assistant as the professional title of choice. I'm Tracy Bingaman, and I'm obsessed with redefining what success as a PA looks like and what it feels like. Here you'll find the mindset shifts, systems, and processes I use to escape healthcare burnout and integrate my work into my life. Work-life balance is a myth, and an integrated life where you thrive professionally, not a balancing act, is the goal here. My mission is to help you to grow into a unicorn PA who loves their job, has abundant energy, time to spare, and work-optional financial freedom. The PA is in. Choosing a new job can feel exciting and daunting, especially when you're a clinician working in a bedside clinical position. Whether you're just starting out in your career or you're looking to make a change, the right position can significantly improve your life. However, it's easy to overlook key factors when the offer feels like a step forward. This episode is dedicated to helping you navigate that decision-making process by sharing 10 essential questions that you need to ask and things that you should know before accepting any offer. Welcome to another episode of The PA is In, your place for common sense clinical advice that is not so common, but super applicable. In the healthcare field, bedside positions working clinically can vary widely, even within the same specialty, depending on your employer or your specific situation. Whether you're considering a new role in a hospital, urgent care, or any other setting where you'll be providing direct patient care, it's crucial to ask the right questions to ensure the position aligns with your values, fits with your lifestyle, and helps you meet your long-term career goals. It's easy to focus on salary, but there are many other aspects of a job offer that will directly affect your satisfaction, growth, and work-life balance. Yes, I am a negotiation coach, and yes, I would love to help you with making sure that you are well compensated for the work that you are doing and the value that you provide. See the link in the show notes to book a consult. But we both know that there are seasons where getting home for dinner, having less days on call, dropping those weekends, or getting off the rotation for nights mean more to you than the dollars in your paycheck. In today's episode, we'll dive into the critical factors you need to consider before signing on the dotted line. From understanding the culture of the workplace to exploring the long-term potential for growth in your career, we'll give you the tools to make an informed decision. By the end of this episode, you'll feel empowered to vet any job offer thoroughly and confidently, ensuring that your next role is one that you can thrive in both professionally and personally. Number 1, how many patients per day will I be expected to see? Understanding the daily patient load is crucial in managing your work-life balance and maintaining the quality of care that you provide. Ask about the average number of patients that you'll be expected to see per day. What's the minimum? What's the maximum? If it's an inpatient position, make sure that you ask for an understanding of the census volume. Are you in charge of multiple hospitals? Are you in charge of care coordination? What is the sort of logistics? Are there social workers and support staff that assist you with arranging outpatient follow-up? How many sites or locations are included in the position? A high patient volume load can lead to burnout if the workload is not manageable or you don't have appropriate support. Knowing the patient load will help you to gauge whether the position aligns with your expectations for a manageable, sustainable workday where you don't take charting home at the end of the day. Number 2, what are the expectations around overtime and call shifts? In clinical positions, the expectations of providers working overtime, or in my opinion, worse, being salaried and staying late without additional compensation, or those providers being on call is common. I'm not saying to avoid places where you might work overtime or be asked to pick up a little extra altogether, but it's essential to clarify how often these things are required and if you're compensated for this time or not. Ask about the frequency of night shifts, weekends, and on call duties. How flexible are these shifts? Do you have a say in your availability? Can you say yes or no to overtime, or is it something that's mandatory, but you're being, asked if you're willing to do it? How subject is the creation of the schedule to seniority? If you're taking a new position, you'll likely be the new kid on the block. Do your previous years of service in the organization or as a provider count towards that seniority at all, or is it strictly seniority within the organization? Are you expected to stay beyond your scheduled hours regularly? If the answer to that question is yes, I would consider asking to be paid hourly instead of salaried, especially if they can get you to pay you for charting at home. Do you get paid for those hours? Understanding these details can help you to balance your work and life priorities and avoid this feeling of overcommitment or feeling like you got swindled where you felt like this schedule was amazing, but you're always charting at home on nights and weekends. Yes, we are all aware that medicine happens at all times, nights, weekends, and holidays. But what you need to know is clearly in advance of those shifts, days, nights, and times, when those are your responsibilities and if you're compensated and how you're compensated for them. The goal here is to find a schedule that works for you, where you get paid when you work and do more. Number three, what is the support system for staff? A healthy work environment is key to job satisfaction. Ask about the team dynamics and the support structure that is in place for clinicians and other team members. Are there things like mentorship opportunities, or is there a designated support staff to assist with non clinical tasks? Do you have your own nurse or MA who calls back results from your in basket? Understanding how the organization or the team supports you will help you to gauge how well the workplace will support you in your role. Avoid letting employers get away with really vague answers here. So sometimes if you're stepping into a new position that doesn't have an established team in terms of MA, nursing, rooms, etc., they'll say, we're going to get you in and get you going and then see how it goes. And then depending on the demand, we'll see about getting you an MA. We'll see about getting you another room to run patients in. A really great follow-up question, if they're giving this like we're going to see how it goes answer, is what would be reasonable, or what numbers would you think would justify another support staff, or how many patients do I have to be seeing a day in order to get that second or third room? Because then you can get some specific numbers that like, hey, when I get to this, we're going to revisit this and say, hey, or even before that, right? If they say when you start seeing 20 patients a day, you get a second room. Great. When you're at consistently 15 patients a day and growing, start talking about hiring that MA, right? Start talking about these things that they said, because if you have a cutoff, then it's not subjective. Then it's not like when you get busy or if you're busy enough. Those things are non-specific. Get them to state some specific numbers so that but that will also give you an idea of whether this is someplace that is trying to support you and willing to support you, or trying to get you to do as much possible work without being or feeling supported. I hope that makes sense. Number four, how does the organization prioritize team member wellness and things like work-life balance? Burnout is a significant current concern in healthcare. If you listen to any number of episodes of this show, you know that burnout is something that I walked through and something that I'm super passionate about helping other clinicians recover from, or better yet, avoid altogether. So when you're taking a new job, it's essential to consider how the group or organization supports everyone's wellness. Ask about the steps they take to make sure that clinicians and staff members have good work-life balance, whether it's through flexible scheduling, the availability of mental health resources, initiatives, or programs to help reduce burnout and overworking their team members. A supportive environment is crucial to having sustainability. And I believe that sustainability is the key to a long-term career in medicine where you don't burn out and you don't hate everything about your job. If you are wondering just how sustainable your current position is, check out the Clinician Sustainability Quiz, which is tracybingaman.com/sustainability. It's super fun. I made it, but it's super fun, if I may say so myself. It's akin to one of those 17 magazine quizzes, and it will help you to know where you fall on the spectrum from burnout on one end to sustainability in your life and career on the other end. Five, what is the compensation and the benefits? If you came here for the money talk, here it is. Money matters. What you get paid matters. When it comes to taking care of your family, having financial margin, and being able to move the needle in your personal finances, being paid well is necessary. While salary is important, it's not the only factor to consider. Ask about the full compensation package, including items like health insurance, life insurance, retirement benefits, CME reimbursement, bonuses, paid time off, which includes typically things like sick time, vacation time, CME days, and more. These benefits can significantly affect your financial security and your job satisfaction in the long run. The fastest route to resentment is being overworked and underpaid. So while it is not only about the money, your compensation package does matter. Number six, what is the training and orientation process like? This one is huge and incredibly variable from position to position and between organizations. Onboarding and orientation play an integral role in getting you comfortable with the workflow and up to speed in doing your job efficiently and effectively. Before taking a new job, it's important to know how much training and orientation you'll receive. Ask about the onboarding process. How long will it take? What type of support will be available as you adjust to your new role? What does that orientation process include? What is the duration? Is there a ramp up process where you are increasing your load of patient care and responsibilities, or does it go from 0 to 60 at the end of orientation? Will there be opportunities for shadowing or hands on training with a mentor or a more seasoned clinician? Make sure the organization provides enough resources to help you transition successfully into the position. This is something I felt like I asked a lot more questions about as a new graduate because I, quite frankly, knew I didn't know what I was doing, but that I neglected to ask when I was taking future roles. And even though I knew how to see patients, and even though I knew how to take care of patients and write notes, that making sure that I was comfortable with the clinical medicine in a new position was something that I was surprised to find was oftentimes cobbled together and didn't include a formal orientation, and there was no actual assessment of competency. And that when they thought I was comfortable and when I seemed confident, that I was ready to go see patients. And I think it depends on you, but personally, I was confident before I was ready because confidence is sort of my baseline. So asking, how do we know I'm ready to be off orientation? Like, what do I need to learn? Is there specific metrics or things that need to be proven competent in before I take off and start seeing patients? Those questions, whether they have a distinct answer, will let you know how much time and organization and effort they've put into this process. Now, it might be something where they have a specific orientation timeline, or maybe they haven't thought of that, and that's something that they can create as you are onboarded.
As PAs, we know how to provide excellent care to our patients, but inevitably, there are work related issues that leave us, well, stumped. It could be a question about reimbursement or malpractice insurance or even renegotiating your contract. Or you might be looking for tips on having more effective conversations with patients and colleagues. Or maybe you want to move up in your career, but you're not sure if that means starting a new role, taking on a leadership position, or changing specialties. For everything I just mentioned, AAPA's Career Central has you covered. With more than 200 resources and a searchable database, you can find anything you need in minutes. Solve your next career challenge at aapa.org/career central.
Number seven, what is the culture of the organization? Culture at the organization at large and also inside of the microclimate of the specific team or group that you will be working at matter. This is something that I vastly underestimated at the beginning of my career. Workplace culture is a critical factor in your job satisfaction. Is the environment collaborative or competitive? Does the organization promote inclusivity, respect, and communication? Ultimately, what you're trying to find out here is, do their values align with your values? Understanding the culture will give you insight into what daily life will be like, what it will actually feel like to work there, and whether it's a place where you can see yourself thriving. Ask about how the team interacts and how leadership engages with staff. Here's a pro tip. When you are interviewing for a position, try to spend as much time as possible with the team. Offer to come in and shadow outside of your interview, spend time with the providers who are sort of on the same level as you, as well as the support staff. Take note of how people treat each other and how they treat those who are in a lower echelon of training or stature to them. Are people kind and reasonable to each other? How do they talk to and talk about patients? What is the general vibe? Are people being respectful and reasonable? Or is it somewhere where you're sort of dreading going in? We call it the vibe check now, I think. Is that is are we still saying that? Is that still cool? Um, but back in the day, my mom would call it trusting your gut or tuning into your intuition. Are your spidey senses tingling? Are you getting a good feeling or a not good feeling about working somewhere after you've spent time in that place with the team? Number 8, what opportunities exist for growth and advancement? Even if you're not planning on moving into a specific leadership role right away, it's important to know whether there are growth opportunities within the organization. From this position, what moves can you make? Ask about the potential career advancements, continuing education support, or opportunities to specialize in an area that interests you. Maybe your dream is to work in another department or specialty or inside a different setting inside this specific specialty. Ask about the logistics of transfers. How does that work inside the organization? Do you need to be there for a certain amount of time before you consider making a move? Is this question received with positivity, like they encourage growth, or negativity, like they're mad that you might ever once in the future consider leaving them? Is it encouraged or discouraged to make moves within the organization? It's important to know if the role will allow you to grow and what your future path forward might look like if you're there at that organization. Career strategy in healthcare is something that we neglect. Start thinking about where you want to end up in the future. Is this position that you're considering, this organization that you're vetting, this specialty, and the skills that you will gain something that's going to move you closer to your ultimate career goals? Is this somewhere that puts you next to the people that you want to be working with someday and that you could potentially move into their group or organization eventually? Number 9, how is performance evaluated and feedback delivered? This is one that early on in my career, I just sort of assumed that feedback was readily offered. I think it was because that's what happened when I was a student, but it was, elicited because they had to do end of rotation evaluations. Is the feedback formal, informal, as a matter of policy? How does it work at this organization? I sort of assumed that it was just like readily available. And that was not the case. It's not the default that you're getting evaluated regularly, either formally or informally. So before you take a job, understanding how the organization measures performance and delivers feedback will help you to set your expectations for what you're going to know about your performance. Ask about the performance evaluation review process. How often are reviews conducted? What criteria is used? How is feedback provided from colleagues, from supervisors, from the admin team? Do annual reviews or performance evaluations result in a change in compensation? If so, is that compensation based truly on performance or is it a cost of living increase depending on how you're doing? This will give you a sense of whether you will be supported in your professional development and also in terms of salary increases over time. And you should get a good idea here if the expectations are pretty reasonable and communicated and evaluated, or if they're vague or unrealistic. Number 10, what is the provider turnover rate and why is the position open? If you are multitasking or you have drifted away, finding out why an open job is open is one of the most important things you can do before you accept a job offer. The provider turnover rate is an important indicator of culture and job satisfaction. Ask about the turnover rate of the department or organization, and probably more importantly, ask why the position is available. On the spectrum from lots and lots of turnover to incredible longevity, where does the group or organization fall? How long have the existing providers been there? What about the staff? Understanding why a role is open, whether it's due to expansion, which growth is my favorite, especially when a company hires for anticipated growth, or and they don't wait way too long to hire someone to fill for growth, whether it's restructuring or past staff departures, can provide insight into the stability and the culture of the organization. Bonus points if you find out why the previous staff left, because there's differences, right? So they left to move to Florida. Amazing. Good for them. Enjoy the Sunshine State. But if 3 of the 6 providers have left in the last 6 months and they're having trouble filling the positions due to, the reputation of the department or the specific physicians or something terrible about the job that has yet to be unearthed, that's something that you're going to want to know in terms of why the position is open. High turnover could indicate lots of different issues, but things like environment, management, job satisfaction, while longer longevity and lower turnover might signal a more positive and supportive workplace. So this question will help you to assess if the organization is a good fit for you long term. And if there's lots of longevity, but you still don't like what you see, I would pass on that position.
PAs, you're dedicated to improving the lives and health of your patients for a brighter future. But what about your future? Who's dedicated to helping you with your financial health so that you can live the future you dream of? Meet Caleb Pepperday, certified financial planner and owner of Advanced Practice Planning. Caleb is the husband of a PAC himself and has seen firsthand the challenges PAs face when it comes to finances. This fueled his mission to ensure that physician assistants get the respect, guidance, and treatment they deserve to build the future they want. Don't risk facing retirement with too little in your accounts or giving up on your dreams for the future, and work with an advisor who understands the unique challenges of being a PA. Gain insights into what your retirement could look like with access to the proper guidance. As a listener of and a featured guest on this podcast, Caleb's made available a free guide to help you prepare for retirement. Check out the link in the show notes to get your free guide and learn more about how advanced practice planning can help secure your financial future.
Now that you have a clearer picture of the questions that you should be asking and the things that you need to know before accepting a job offer, it's important to take time to reflect on your priorities. What you are really trying to do here is to find out if the role, the organization, and this group is in alignment with what matters most to you right now. If a role meets your clinical, financial, personal needs, it could be the perfect opportunity to advance your career. But if any of these key areas are lacking or cause you concern, it's better to continue to look for a role that aligns with your specific values and goals. Don't be afraid to take your time during the decision-making process. Stressed work isn't our best work, and trying to find a job when you're in a crunch, desperate to find something new and make a change, can lead to impulsive decisions. Think ahead and be as proactive about job changes and career strategy as possible. It's essential to advocate for yourself and your needs to ensure that your next clinical role is fulfilling, sustainable, and a positive step forward in your career. The questions we've covered today will guide you in making the best possible decision with the information that you have about your future. Do not be shy about asking questions and getting as much information as possible about potential job offers. You'll never regret gathering too much information. In fact, I'm not sure that having too much information about a future job exists. The perfect job is a myth, but one that aligns with your career goals and current personal needs is definitely possible. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The PA Is In. I hope that these tips help you to navigate job offers and find a position that not only fits your professional aspirations, but also supports your personal well-being. If you have any questions or you want to share your job vetting experiences, feel free to reach out. If you're trying to decide between 2 specific positions, I do offer decision consults linked in the show notes. I'd love to walk through this process with you and talk about the different job offers and help you to determine what is the best next move for you at this point in your life and at this time in your career. Until next time, stay focused on your career goals and to continue advocating for the balance that you deserve in your professional and in your personal life. That's all for today. This PA is out. Congratulations, you've just joined an awesome club. By listening to a full episode of The PA Is In, you are officially on the Unicorn PA team. Welcome aboard.
What most team members do is they subscribe to the podcast because that allows them to automatically get the latest episode of the show. The life of your dreams exists on the other side of taking action. Keep making small shifts and keep getting better. Your life will improve, your career will soar, and you will have the confidence you need to create your own success. I will see you in the next episode. This PA is out.